Welcome everybody to the Wrestle for Real podcast. You know how we normally do it each and every Monday night, covering WWE Monday Night Raw, the official podcast for the post show. Y'all already know, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate the support we've been getting. Continue to grab us on all your audio platforms, iHeart, Spotify, Apple, any place you get audio podcasts. We are there, the Wrestle number 4 Real podcast and continue to support. So we definitely appreciate it. We got me tonight, got Spook out tonight, and Stan out tonight. But we're gonna run down the show. We're gonna run down the show just like the team is here. They're back in the United States just before going back out to London next week. So we got them back in the US of A, Baltimore to be exact. So the night kicked off with the Bloodline: Roman Reigns, Jimmy J. Uso, in addition to Jacob Fatu, definitely out there putting their stamp on things, putting their imprint on things, showing the power that they have right now. We got a lot of tension between Jay Uso and a lot of tension between Jacob Fatu. Jimmy seems to be the peacemaker. Roman Reigns seems like he's just at a point where he's above all of that. He's not involved in the internal beef that seemed to have been brewing tonight that we've seen in the last couple of weeks as well between Jacob and Jimmy and Jey Uso. I'm not sure if we're headed towards a match. I think when the implosion does happen, which it just seems like it may be the case at some point, it's likely going to be those two kicking off that implosion somehow, some way. But we've seen the bloodline breakup, come back together, breakup, come back together. It's a trait of family, so that's not super far fetched, but we can expect to probably see that somewhere down the line. But mainly, this was just them congratulating Jay, hyping him up. He's in the moving forward in the King of the Ring tournament, so he's on his way to see what he can do as far as winning the King of the Ring tournament. I'm not sure that they're going to give it to him just based on what we've seen in our main event tonight and based on who they've been building and who looks like the guy. But Jey Uso was able to pull out a victory in the Fatal 4-Way this past Friday on Friday Night SmackDown. So he's in the mix right now. How much longer? I don't know if he's going to actually pull this off. Doesn't really feel like he's going to pull it off, but he's excited for right now. The family is just trying to band together. We haven't yet seen a challenger introduced for Roman Reigns, which is kind of not normal. After Jacob, it's been about 3 weeks now. If this is not the third week, we have yet to see a challenger get introduced for Roman Reigns. So we're all still sitting back trying to figure out who's that challenger going to be, who's next, who's the next guy, who's next up to actually challenge Roman Reigns for that championship. Now, we all have, throw out some names, the CM Punks of the world. Seth Rollins is back in bread with Braun Breaker. So Monday Night Raw pickings are a little slim right now. Some of the guys usually in the title pictures over on SmackDown. We don't anticipate LA Knight getting involved or somebody like a Penta getting involved. Or we're not really sure what the process is. But as of right now, Roman is just holding on to the championship, trying to get Jey Uso to get the next championship. And so these guys could basically simultaneously hold the championships. So that would be a very interesting thing. I don't know if it's going to go that far, but Jey Uso winning would make sense to go all the way if you're going to do it. I don't believe they're going to do it. I don't see how they're going to ignore Obafemi and all the push that they have done with him. So we're going to see. We're going to see how this one plays out, man. But a little bit of tension between Jacob and Jay. Nothing too major. Roman holding the family together. So on the way out the ring, Eric Andre, comedian, actor, has a movie coming out, I believe it's titled Little Brother on Netflix, June 26th, with John Cena. So they were plugging the movie. He's sitting ringside, right at that corner pocket, closer to the entrance ramp where that is. So he was getting involved, wanted to speak to the guys. An excited fan nonetheless. Reached out to speak to Jey Uso, nothing. Reached out to speak to Jimmy. Jimmy, right now, he's happy. He's in a good place. He's in peacemaker mode. He's excited. So what did he do? Dapped him up, man. Made him feel good about himself, feel good for being ringside. For whatever reason, Jacob, with his newly crowned Ula Fala on, got close to Eric Andre, where he decided to do a lot of touching with Jacob. Then he started messing around with the Ula Fala and hitting it a little bit. He was just an overly excited fan. This got him snatched out of his seat. This got him thrown in the ring. This subsequently caught about maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 headbutts, which led to Jacob getting to the top of the ropes and on his way to doing a splash. Roman Reigns comes down to the ring, tells him no, don't do it. As Adam Pearce is in there, Jamie Noble is in there. I believe I forget his name. Jordan is in there. Some of the backstage officials trying to break it up, trying to get Jacob out of there from hurting a fan, not necessarily a wrestler. And Roman said, "Hey, don't do it." And then for whatever reason, he changed his mind. He gave him the green light. Boom, we got ourselves a splash. They got done with that. Was walking back to the ring, out to the back entrance, and Roman Reigns once again looked at Jacob Fatu and said, "Let's hit him one more time." And one more time it was. I thought it was a pretty hilarious end to the segment, man. It's always good to see the fans get involved and kind of get beat up. Like, as a fan, I think, winning is great, but just really getting beat up just seems like something that fans enjoy and find to be fun. So that's kind of what it was with that segment, man. Roman Reigns kind of deploying Jacob Fatu in a like a missile, like a wrecking ball, a goon, somebody like that to just go and say, "Hey, I need you to go and do this dirty work," and then he goes and get the dirty work done. So overall, I thought it was an entertaining opening segment, man, and I was, good to see Roman is still there, still back. I think he took off on the European tour. I'm not sure if we saw him on the European tour. I don't think I had anything on Roman Reigns the last couple of weeks. I could be mistaken, but I don't think he was there during the European tour at all. So he's back when they get back to Baltimore. After that, we had our first match of the night. Women's Queen of the Ring tournament continues. Iyo Sky versus Raquel. I think Raquel does a little better with women the size of Iyo Sky and her skill set. This wasn't a bad match. It was actually a pretty quick match. There was no interference, no judgment day to be found. Raquel wanted to go out there on her own. That's what she did, and she did not pull out the victory. Iyo Sky pulled this out pretty quickly. I was surprised that there was no interference, no hijinks or anything, and the match went by pretty quickly. There's a focus on Raquel for some reason. Maybe they really, really, based on her background, based on her size, based on her look, something is making them say, we want to push her. And it doesn't seem to matter what it is that she's out there looking like or doing, because she doesn't normally look good. And in this case, that really wasn't anything different. She didn't necessarily look good in this one either. So I was a little surprised at how the match went and how quick it was. And now I believe we have Iyo Sky in the finals, awaiting the winner of maybe Charlotte and Liv Morgan, if I'm not mistaken. So looks like we're going to be crowning someone who's not a new champion, who's not a new queen, or not someone new to the top of the card. I don't really understand those types of decisions where we have a chance to have a tournament to introduce someone new. It doesn't take a title away from anyone. Charlotte has done it all, seen it all, been at the top, hung out at the top, ate at the top, lived at the top. Liv Morgan currently has the championship. Iyo Sky has had the championship. These women have won WrestleMania matches. So it's really difficult to see why a Roxanne, a Lyra, a Chelsea, some of these girls coming up didn't get that opportunity. Even, I don't know if Jade had it last year, but some of these other ladies that are just on the rise right now that could really use a boost in momentum without actually having to give them the championship and then fighting for the championship at some point. So I believe SummerSlam, but they went with Iyo Sky. So right now they seem they're playing it safe. You got Iyo Sky on one side, you got Charlotte, and you got Liv on the other side. Not really sure what that's going to look like once the everything unfolds. My guess is that they're likely to give it to Liv because she would have everything, the championship and the crown. I don't know that just putting the crown on Charlotte makes sense for Charlotte. She doesn't need it. I don't think putting it on Iyo Sky, she doesn't need it as well. But I just definitely don't see Charlotte. I just don't see them putting that on her. She seems like she's very, very okay without it. So I could see either Iyo or Liv, but more so, I'm kind of leaning towards them just having Liv dominate. Again, she's somebody that they seem to love and want to push, in addition to Iyo. But with her having the championships, maybe it adds the championship, the women's championship, maybe it adds another intrigue to that entire picture with Liv Morgan moving forward. But we had Liv Morgan asking Danhausen to curse Obafemi for his match tonight against Dominic Mysterio in a King of the Ring tournament match as well. Didn't really go according to plan. She was a little flirty, tried to, sweet talk him. Guess he's just, he's about his human money, not really concerned with whatever she had going on at that time. But that did segue into a beautiful moment. The New York Knicks, the city of New York, got to celebrate. Myself got to celebrate one championship, the NBA championship, the 2026 champions, the New York Knicks, led by Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and the guys. The Villanova Knicks, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart there as well, came up big. So Danhausen was getting a whole lot of attention throughout this whole thing, from cursing Stephen A. Smith to not cursing the Knicks to uncursing. It's just, it was a whole lot of cursing and not cursing going on. But either way, the Knicks dominated the playoffs, absolutely ran through these teams that everybody thought was very high quality teams. So shout out to my Knicks. Shout out to whatever Danhausen did. They do have merchandise right now with Danhausen and the New York Knicks mashup type of merchandise. So that's a beautiful thing. And that was the beauty. Them showing the champions and them winning and putting that on Monday Night Raw, especially since they had such a strong tie-in throughout these playoffs. So that's a good look for them. That's a good look for the Knicks. That's an even good look for Danhausen, of course. So he's still making some noise right now. He's been going crazy on the merch. He's been going crazy everywhere. He's making appearances. They have really taken someone who had a little bit of that going at his previous company and then decided to elevate to that next level when the WWE came calling. So he's on fire right now, man. He can't miss right now. And I still, I think we seen one match against the Miz, and he had some stuff going on, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was against. Oh man, I can't even think of the other guy's name that be with the Miz, but he's been all over the place right now. So he's been doing this thing for someone that's just there to bring some fun, some lightheartedness, sell some merchandise. I think he's batting at 1,000 right now. He's A1 right now. He's Mr. Untouchable right now when it comes to the entertainment side of the business, the E and WWE. After this, we had our second match of the evening. That was Chad Gable, as Chad Gable. He's back to being himself, as they say, back in the United States, going up against Rusev, a tough challenger. But Chad has been on fire since relinquishing the El Grande Americano mask in AAA after losing to the El Grande Americano in AAA. Those guys' story went on for a very long time. And leading up to that, early on in the El Grande Americano, he was having one of the most interesting storylines in the WWE. He was heavily featured. He was searching for the lucha libre and the dark arts and all of this, and then he put on the mask, and a lot of people just that whole time frame he was really popping and was having a lot go his way as far as having segments people wanted to see on Monday Night Raw, leading right into the whole El Grande Americano thing. He gets injured, he comes back. They try to keep the storyline going. It stretches out a bit long, ends up being predominantly on AAA, where they got magic to somehow happen over there. And then he comes back here after losing, shaking everybody's hand on his apology tour from Rey Mysterio to Dragon Lee to every luchador he could find. And right now, he's getting a big pop. He's getting a big reception. And he's right back in the spot where you could say, what's Chad Gable going to do every week? So he was like that before and he's like that now. I think a lot of people, myself definitely, is waiting for when is Chad Gable going to get that singles title around his waist? When is he going to get that title around his waist? So I don't know when that's going to happen or how soon or if that's even in the cards, but right now he's on fire and it's not easy to get someone on fire. So I think capitalizing on this momentum, man, he's got a huge pop. Everybody's loving him right now. He's went completely babyface. And he had a great match against Rusev. We're not surprised by that. Him and Rusev are always going to have a great match. These guys are both really good in the ring. Rusev as a heel, just doing what it is that they do. So anytime those guys go at it, man, it's a match worth checking out. It's a match worth seeing. Honestly, before I even get to the other matches, I could say it was match of the night. It did have some hijinks in it. Ethan Page made an appearance. It did not stop Chad Gable from pulling off the victory and tapping out Rusev, which is not something I think we see very often. But this led to him getting beaten, jumped from behind, and all of this. And then here came Rey Mysterio, here come Dragon Lee, and these guys who we know who are now, hey, saying we're okay with Chad Gable. We understand what you've been through. We accept your apology, and now we know that you're legitimately a good guy. So that was a good look for Chad Gable as well. Good look for him winning the match. And Rusev and Ethan Page did what Rusev and Ethan Page do. So I didn't have any problem with this segment, man. Up until this point right now, Monday Night Raw actually is flowing pretty nicely. Not sure what's in the cards for Chad Gable. Not sure what's in the cards for Ethan Page. But these guys may see each other down the line for something major on the line very very soon. I can definitely see that. LA Knight came out there, and LA Knight has been angry with the Vision. He's been angry with the Bloodline. He's been angry with pretty much everybody you can think of as his journey unfolds, and he hasn't had the ability to win the big matches. For whatever reason, LA Knight is stuck in purgatory. It's gotten to a point where I just don't believe he's going to win anything of significant value. He's great on the microphone. He brings great energy. He's got great charisma. The crowd loves him. He's over with the fans, the audience. I'm sure he's selling some merchandise, but he's just not going to get the big win. And sometimes it happens that way. And unfortunately, that seems to be his story right now. Somebody who could legitimately walk around with the championship on his shoulder, and I'm talking about the big one, does not seem to be able to win the big one. I don't know what's going on backstage or why this is the case, but he stays prominently on television, which as long as you're there, you have a chance, even if it's a small one. So he's cutting a promo, talking about the bloodline, Jay Uso. Jimmy Uso comes out there. Jimmy Uso, like I said, he's in a good space right now, right? He's got a child on the way, if not already here. I think we would have probably heard of an announcement if the child was here. I'm not sure, but he's got one on the way. He's feeling good. He's happy. He's a peacemaker. He's trying to be the older twin of the two. And that's what he came out there to do. Jay Uso, not so much. He was a little bit more hot headed when he finally made his way to the ring and definitely ready to get into it with LA Knight, which is exactly him and LA Knight got to throwing some blows. In the midst of that, Jimmy Uso got thrown out the way by LA Knight. He responded with a super kick. And when Jay wanted to finish the job, Jimmy said, no, we're not going to do that, which led to Jimmy getting back into the action with LA Knight. This led to Jacob Fatu coming out and putting an end to that with the tongue and death grip that you are not supposed to use on family. But more than acceptable on LA Knight. So that is exactly what happened in this one. They laid him out. I don't think Jacob and Jay was quite on the same page, but they got the job done. They got LA Knight. They put him down. So he's just going to continue in that vortex. I'm not sure what it's going to lead to, but if I'm LA Knight, I'm just excited to stay on TV every week. I'm excited to be featured because that just may be his ceiling. And as much as I like him, as much as the people seem to like him, it's not a bad ceiling. It's better than nothing because nothing gets you off of TV and that gets you out of the door of the company. So far so good. Definitely not a bad segment. Anything LA Night, I'm there for it, man. Let's do whatever we got to do. The next match on the card after this, Roxanne Perez and Charlotte Flair, the Queen, and a young up and coming upstart in Roxanne, who I think has the look, has some skills to really be something. The development is taking a while, and I'm not sure what could be holding her back, or if they're just waiting for spots to open up, waiting for some other things to fizzle out. Not really sure there, but she had a very tall task, and I don't mean that literally, in Charlotte Flair tonight, which that's going to be a tough one. Not necessarily something that she's I don't know that I would have pulled the trigger on that match this soon, but everybody just kind of fights everybody, and then eventually they fight for a championship. And, the spectacle of it all makes it seem bigger than what it may be, especially considering that most of everybody has pretty much fought everybody. And nothing is really being built up, getting a slow build, having a great story. And being that Roxanne is on her way up and Charlotte is kind of at the top of the mountain, I would have liked to see that story unfold in a little bit better of a way than which it did. But we got a solid match out of it. Not necessarily the kind of match I would like to have seen, but that's probably just them not mixing it up enough, the stakes not being high enough. Charlotte was able to pull off the victory in this one with some help from Alexa Bliss, who had to come in and basically be the equalizer because Liv Morgan was out there. So these ladies went at it. Alexa Bliss is kind of just around right now. She's not doing too much. Liv is still in the Queen of the Ring tournament. So there's still some place to go with these ladies. I don't know where you go with Roxanne, with her taking that L. But Charlotte still in the Queen of the Ring, so she still has a shot there. So it's very likely that we may see Alexa Bliss and Roxanne go at it. If that didn't happen on SmackDown, I didn't see it, so I'm not sure. But if it didn't, then I wouldn't be surprised if we see that happening pretty soon with those two, because that's what happens. The tag teams go at it one on one, and then you start to see maybe a tag match or some type of blow off happening at that point. But it was good to see Charlotte on Monday Night Raw. We don't get to talk about her a lot because she's on SmackDown, and we are the official post show for WWE Monday Night Raw. And but when we do get these crossovers for the tournaments or the major PLEs that come up here and there, or Saturday night's main event, any of that type of stuff, we get a little crossover. Beautiful thing. So I definitely enjoy seeing Charlotte, who is my GOAT, and I don't believe it's even almost a little bit close. But in that, there were a lot of people not here tonight. So after this, we had Javon Evans coming out and cutting a promo. Honestly, I got to be real. I don't remember what his promo was about. I know that he was very quickly interrupted by a returning Logan Paul, who seems to still be a little bit banged up, but wanted to get out there, get some reps, do some promo, do some mic work, things like that. So, which he was able to successfully convey the message across that we're not asking Javon Evans to be a part of the vision. We're telling him you're going to be a part of the vision. I thought that was a clever way to try to recruit somebody. Javon Evans, of course, did not go for that. This led to him basically calling for a referee, man, so we can get a match between him and Austin Theory. So I thought the way the match started a little late, I was wondering if it was the main event, but things kind of wrapped up with this one pretty quickly. But they went at it, man. I like seeing Austin Theory out there. Javon Evans is coming into his own as well. So I thought we had a great match between those two. Is something that I definitely would want to see with some stakes on the line, a little higher stakes on the line as well, a little bit more story as well. It looked like it was just kind of thrown together, but that doesn't mean it makes for a bad match. It's just not going to have the emotional connection behind it. It's not going to have the same a luster behind it when you don't have a story leading up to the match, where you don't tell me why these two guys are in the ring right now, when you don't put something major on the line for these guys to capture a crown, a title, a Ulafala. I don't care. Just anything could make it that much bigger. So not yet there yet, but again, everybody's fighting everybody. So this is what we got tonight. There was some interference as to be expected with Logan Paul. Braun Breaker was out there. He definitely laid out Javon Evans. The Street Profits eventually came out. Montez Ford and a return to Angelo Dawkins. These guys went out there, did their business, looked pretty good. If I do say so myself, man, they was able to get out there and force their own physicality, man. They always look good. They're again two guys, especially Montez, where I don't quite understand what's holding them back or where the trajectory is for these guys. But they were, again, sometimes just keep me on TV. Hopefully something will happen. Hopefully something will click. Hopefully something will make sense. Hopefully you'll see something in the match that makes you go, huh, what was that? Let's use this guy in a different way. Now let's elevate this particular player. So I could see that happening to some degree with both of them. I just think Montez has a bit of a higher trajectory, but I could see that happening with both of them. And hopefully they get to do that. But right now they're still in that vision vortex along with Seth Rollins and what he has going on with Braun Breaker, which was announced at Night of Champions. There would be a steel cage match between Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. So that should be bringing an end to the Seth Rollins Braun Breaker situation. Hopefully it does. If not, I don't know what else they're going to do. But I think it should be bringing a close to it. It's a big match, so that's going to be great. Meanwhile, the Street Profits will be facing, I want to say, Austin Theory and maybe Braun Breaker next week. I don't know that Logan Paul is cleared, so I do believe they have a tag team championship next week from London with a 2 p.m. start time. But I do believe that they have a tag team championship. I hope I'm not mixing it up, because the Brie Bella and Paige also has a tag team championship match next week as well. So it's going to be some interesting stuff going on in London. But this is what happened with the Division and the Street Profits. No Joe Hendry sighting. He was loosely a part of all of this, but he's been kind of sitting out right now. So he's somebody that was missing, and I'm not a fan that he was missing. In addition to Penta, he was missing, and I'm not a fan that he was missing. So there were some people missing. Becky Lynch was missing, and I'm not a fan that she was missing. So didn't even see Sol Ruka tonight. She was missing. Not a fan that she was missing. So there were some people that were missing tonight that I would rather see get in there. I wasn't watching commercial free, so I don't know if they had some segments or if they just got out there, riled up the crowd, anything like that. But hopefully we get some of these players back. And I just think the card is just, it has room to me to give opportunities, but for some reason they don't. And I don't know that it's sponsors and running ads and commercials, because you are still doing promos that I don't think is all that necessary. We can have, a bunch of matches and give people an opportunity to show what they can do without having so many promos. Without having in ring promos. You can still run the sponsors, get your money, still run the commercials, get your money. But I think we can do more with the TV time that they do have, because some of this stuff is running longer than it needs to run. Some of this stuff absolutely don't even need to be there, especially a lot of the backstage stuff. None of it was really hitting on too much. We did have a backstage segment with Roman Reigns, call it another play for Jacob Fatu. Not sure where he's headed. But again, something that probably could have been done a little quicker if it needed to be done at all. But I think there's always enough room to get another match or two within the time in which you're on air to get those matches. And this is where these superstars who are not able to get into the major title pictures can just kind of showcase what they can do, because tonight I think we had four matches. Typically, that's about where we at. So, in our main event, we had Dominic Mysterio versus Obafemi. The main event started a little bit after 10:20, so I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be quick." And this involved Dominic doing everything he can to get away from Obafemi, hiding, running, which led to Obafemi finally catching him and JD McDonough, a double choke slam in the process. And he pretty much just dominated this match on his way to victory. It was a very quick match. It did not make someone who's holding the biggest championship in AAA look good. I don't think that a champion should ever lose a match when they have the championship. If they're a heel or a bad guy, it should be some type of disqualification. If they're a good guy, they should just go over on their opponent. If you're Dominic Mysterio, you probably should never have been in this match, because why are you in this match? It just makes Oba look very dominant. I get that component of it. But do we need Dominic Mysterio to lay down so he can look that dominant? This is a champion. This was the former Intercontinental Champion, the current AAA Mega Champion. I don't understand why he needs to be out there looking like a job guy, looking scared, running. And even though he's a heel, I think there is somebody else that could have fit that spot and made him look like every time he goes out there, he's going to somehow pull off a win, even if it's with heel tactics, if it's with bad guy tactics. So I didn't like that component. I have not been a fan of the build of Obafemi. I think it has been absolutely just atrocious in my opinion. It's been bad. I haven't agreed with anything. I haven't agreed with who he's fought. I haven't agreed with how he's won. I haven't agreed with his strut. I haven't agreed with his posing. I don't agree with any of it. And I still hold firm and believe that by WrestleMania, the fans are going to turn on him. And I don't see how it cannot happen. He's being built up in such a way where it just makes you dislike the guy, because it just doesn't make sense. He's dominating to such a degree to where it looks like nobody can beat him, but there's no story. Brock Lesnar just came back. He left again. We're not sure what's going on. So I think the slow build would have been a better approach. I think telling him when you're angry and mad, we're going to leave out the strutting. We're going to leave out the posing. Let's just go get to it. When it's just a straight up match, then you can go out there, hit all your poses and do all your emotes and all that sort of thing. But right now, the presentation is a little wishy-washy for me, and the way he's running through guys, I don't think these guys need to look bad in the process. Right now, Dominic Mysterio should look like the biggest threat in AAA possible as a bad guy and look undefeated and unbeatable, so that El Grande Americano can go in there and have his moment. Anything short of that, I think you're doing the entire thing a disservice, but that's just me. But that was our main event for tonight, with Obafemi pulling off the victory, heading into, I believe, the finals for the King of the Ring, which it's kind of hard to say that he's not going to win or pull it off. But, somebody's got to lose. And unfortunately, it's not guys who I think could take the loss or should be taking the loss from him at this time. But next week, we'll be right back here covering Monday Night Raw from London next week. So that should be, they got some stuff cooked up for that show. It should be interesting. Definitely should have Spook back with me and Stan back with me on next week's episode. Please don't forget to lock in and definitely tune into that one. We also Appreciate the support again. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and tell a friend to tell a friend. If you see a clip, if you see us on, definitely share it with at least one person. We appreciate that. And don't forget all your audio podcasts, iHeart, Spotify, Apple. Definitely go there, the Wrestle #4 Real Podcast, and continue showing us that support. So we're over a year now. So we're just continuing to go strong and keep this thing going. But as the official post show for WWE Monday Night Raw, nobody quite delivers it like us. But until next time, hit the right buttons, and I'll see you in a minute.